Welcome back to the channel, guys. Today I want to talk to you about something that I think has the biggest impact on your street photography, and I think is probably the best accessory you can invest in, and that is a flash. Maybe not a big ass one like this one here on the Ricoh GR. Definitely it's more like a two-hand operation, so this is not ideal, but I have way better recommendations in this video. Before we start off with the first flash, let me tell you that my Ricoh GR4 is back from service. So it's been fixed, which is unbelievable because it only took 1 week. I sent it in, and the day after I received it, I got a message, oh yeah, we have your camera and there's something wrong with it, yes, and we need to order the spare parts because they're not here and it may take a little bit longer. But then to my surprise, 1 week later, the camera showed up again. And they actually replaced the main board in the camera, so it was a bigger job they had to do, and now it works flawlessly again. Now, like I said, when you use flash, especially with small cameras like the Ricoh GR, X100, Leica Q, and so on and so forth, and also the Lumix L10, which is, I think, a great camera for street photography, you might start off with something small like this Zenico here. This is the Zenico ZF-08, and it's a TTL capable flash. However, the TTL only works on the Ricoh GR3. They haven't cracked the TTL protocol on the GR4 yet, so this only works with the GR3. Maybe they can have a firmware update with this one. I'm not so sure about this, but a flash like this is really cheap. I think this is around 30 to 40 bucks, and let me tell you, I was really surprised when I used it, but I would not recommend using the diffuser because this takes away too much power. But other than that, if you pop it on your Ricoh GR4, it's really tiny. As you can see here, the profile is really tiny, and it packs a punch. Just recently, when I was in India a couple weeks ago, I used this flash. It worked really fine. Unless you need to bump up the power a lot, then this is definitely not something I would recommend. Also, on a camera like the Leica Q3, a flash like this is also not a good fit because the flash is so flush with the camera that the lens will cast a shadow on your subjects. Also on the Lumix L10, it's the same. So this is good for the Ricoh GR, maybe also for the Fuji X100, but for all cameras that have maybe a lens that sticks out a little bit more, I would probably not use this. Other than that, on here, it's fabulous. I use it for personal stuff a lot because it's so convenient. I can use it just handheld. It has a sleep mode, so it turns itself off when you don't shoot, and when you press the shutter again, it will turn back on, which is very convenient. And actually, the battery in here lasts quite long. I was able to get around 450 to 500 shots at full blast, which is unbelievable. And also, later on in this video, I will give you a graph so you can get an idea about the power that these flashes that I will show you in this video have, and also the recycle time. I think this is also something to consider because if you want to shoot fast and then the flash is not ready, that can be annoying. So recycle time is also a factor. I think power and recycle time, these are the most important factors when it comes to flash for street photography. Now, when you want to step it up a notch and have something that is a little bit more flexible, because this small flash, you can just attach it to the camera, you cannot turn it, nothing. It's basically just this one look that you will get. But if you still want a small flash and still want to get a little bit more out of it, there's this guy here. This is also a Zenico flash. It's the RF12M. And as you can see, it almost looks like a full-fledged flash. And the good part about this is you can change the angle and you can turn it. So it can bounce off a wall, you can bounce off whatever you want. Maybe the ceiling, unless it's too high up, then the flash will not do much. But this is very interesting. Also, the surface on the front is quite a bit bigger, so the flash or the light on your subject will be a little bit softer because of the bigger diffuser that is already built in here. And also, as you can see, it's still fairly small and it's super lightweight. And this flash here is only, it's a dumb flash because it only has the middle pin. Which means this doesn't have TTL at all. This can only be used in manual, but I think that's actually a good thing. And operating the flash is super easy. On the back, there's only a few buttons. There's plus, minus, on, off. But that's pretty much it. It has a little bit more power than the other one that I showed you. And it also is good for around 500 shots at full power. And the recycle time is a bit faster than the other one. So this cranks it up just slightly and it looks so cute. I mean, this looks like a normal flash, but just shrunken down quite a bit. Maybe they washed it a little bit too warm. Yeah, I haven't used it a ton, but I'm planning to use it for casual stuff, for personal stuff, because for my street photography, I need a bit more power because I'm more of a power user, so to speak. Now, if you want a little bit more than that even, and you want to be able to also take the flash off the camera and use off-camera flash, there's a flash that I already showed you. It's this here is the Godox IT32, which is a great flash. However, I would not recommend it for the Ricoh GR4. And actually, I would not recommend it for the Leica Q either, and also for maybe other cameras, because I haven't used it on other cameras, because there's this problem in the video where I actually showed you this flash and I said, hey, this is the most amazing flash for street photography, and I think it is, and it will be, but more on that in a little bit. The issue is the flash trigger. So this flash basically is the flash unit. You can buy this and you can buy flash triggers for it. This here is for Lumix, so I can use it on the Lumix L10. But I also have a trigger for Leica, so I can use it on my Leica Q3. However, the issue with this is if I use this trigger on my Leica Q3, yes, it will not go into sleep mode, because that's one issue when you use this one. If I use the Olympus one on my Leica Q3 and I shoot off camera, the flash trigger will go into sleep mode after a few seconds, so it will turn itself off, which is a little bit annoying, and you cannot turn it off in the menu. For this, of course, the fix would be to use the Leica version. However, this will introduce a lag. It's a very small lag, it's not super crazy, and it's not as crazy as on the Lumix L10. If I use this one on the Lumix L10, it's a crazy, crazy lag, so it's not very usable. That's why I said I would not recommend this flash now, because I talked to somebody who has a contact at Godox, and the cool part is they're aware of the issue, and I was told they're already working on a firmware update to update this for the Olympus, so to get rid of this massive lag on the Lumix L10. And also, and this is where the Ricoh GR comes into play, because here is they don't have a trigger for this. So actually this is not a good combo. However, they're working on a trigger that can be used universally. I think it will only have the middle pin, so this will be also a dumb trigger, but this is great because it will not go into sleep mode. You can use it on any camera, you can use it on the Ricoh GR. And if this actually is out, hopefully it will come soon, this would be my recommendation for the Ricoh GR4, because this flash is absolutely sick. Look at the footprint. Let's pop it on the camera. And as you can see, it's not very big. And it doesn't weigh much. And you can easily take it off camera and shoot it off camera, which is absolutely amazing. So fingers crossed that this trigger for however they will call it, will be out as soon as possible, because then this would be the best recommendation for flash for street photography, hands down. I think, and when I introduced this flash, I already showed you my old Lightpix Labs flash, which is a pain in the butt to use now. It was great when it came out because there was nothing like it on the market. But now, since there's this Godox IT32, I've never touched it since. So I would not recommend buying one. If you already have one, it's fine, you can still use it, but this is way superior and it's the same money. So it's the same price. Why would you buy the Lightpix Labs if you can get this here? Now, if you still want a bit more and you're more like a power user that shoots a lot and you need a lot of power, then of course, even the IT32, it can do a good job. But if you need as much power as possible, of course, you need a bigger flash. And there's benefits to that as well, because you can use triggers like this, like the Godox X3 here, which I'm using pretty much all the time. This one here is the Olympus version, but the good thing is I can use it on my Lumix L10, I can use it on my Leica Q3, I can use it on the Ricoh GR, because this one doesn't go into sleep mode. Yes, I can only use the middle pin, so no TTL, but hey, I don't care. And with this, I can use pretty much all the Godox flashes that are available and that are compatible with the wireless system, which are most of them. So I can use this here, the V350, which is a great flash. There's the TT350, which is also great, but it uses AA batteries. This one has a dedicated battery, and that is a benefit, I would say, because the recharge time is faster. You can get more flashes out of one battery, one charge. And also, if you use rechargeable batteries, sometimes they will not give you the full capacity in the flash, and also it will sometimes show you the batteries are empty, even though they are not. So I think this is, for me, is the better option. But if you're on a budget, you want to get a flash as cheap as possible, the TT350 is still a great option. Pretty much the same power and same size. So this combination here, for me, works pretty well. Putting the X3 trigger on the GR4, very small, very lightweight, and then I can have the flash in my hand and do whatever I want, which is great. However, for me personally, this is more my backup flash, because there's another flash that I use most of the time because it has so much power. It lasts me all day long. Even when I was shooting for pretty much the whole day, and I was shooting well over 1,000 photos in a day, and most of them probably at 1/4, 1/2 power, or maybe sometimes even a little bit more. The flash lasts me all day long, which was absolutely crazy, and that is this guy here. It's the Godox V480. And this, as you can see, is the Nikon version. I just got the cheapest that I could find on Amazon. And the good thing is you can pair this with any Godox X3 trigger, because it doesn't matter if this is for a different brand. The trigger and the flash, they can still communicate. However, there's one thing I want to mention. If you have this combination, I would recommend sending it in the menu, setting it to legacy mode, because if you do that, it will only activate the middle pin, and this sometimes is the way to go. At least for me, it works a little bit better. And also the range, the trigger range in there, the trigger distance in here is 0 to 30 meters and 1 to 100 meters. And if you set it to 1 to 100, which you would normally think is the best idea, it can happen that the flash will not trigger if you're too close to the trigger. So if you set it to 0 to 30, this pretty much works all the time. So this would be my recommendation in case you already have it or if you want to buy it. Now, of course, there's a ton more of flashes available right now. I think there's a new flash coming out every week. And also Godox is pumping out new flash units left, right, and center. But for me, this one, the V480, is the best one. And also the battery in here, you can charge it through USB-C. It has a port, so you don't need a charger. And also, by the way, if you have the V350, this battery also fits in there. So you can buy this and you don't need a charger. Now, before I show you the power output of these flashes, let me know in the comments which flash unit or which combination you are using and how it works for you. And also, if you have the IT32 and you're using a Fuji camera or a Sony, whatever, let me know if there's any lag, if you experience any lag. And the way to figure out if there's a lag is very simple. Go to burst mode on your camera, maybe 5 frames per second, and shoot it without the flash. Take the flash off the camera, shoot it, and then pop on the flash and see, or shoot again 5 FPS and see what happens if the camera shoots slower or it's the same speed. On the Leica Q3, I can tell a very big difference if I have the flash on. slows down. Same on the Lumix L10. And from what I've read, it's similar maybe on Fuji, but maybe not on Canon or Sony whatsoever. So if you have experience with that, please share that with us in the comments down below. Now, if you want to unlock a new achievement and get into flash street photography, check out my video course. You will find the link in the video description. This will teach you everything that you need to know. It doesn't matter if you're a beginner or you're already advanced. This will teach you everything from getting started to advanced techniques. So check it out. And if you use this code here, you will save 10%. And if you want to learn from me in person, come to one of my workshops. There are 2 more available this year. One will be a 2-day workshop in Naples in September. And the second one will be an action-packed 9-day workshop in Thailand this October. The link will be in the video description. Now let's check out the charts with the power output of the flash units and also the recycle times. Now here's the results. I shot everything at 1.5 meters away. The ISO on the light meter was set to ISO 100. The Ricoh ZT-08 gave me f3.2, and remember, this is at full power. And the recycle time is 2.5 seconds. Then the Ricoh RF12M gave me f4.8 at full power, and recycle time was the same at 2.5 seconds. Then the Godox IT32 at full power gave me f7.5, pretty much almost f8, and recycle time was 1.6 seconds. Then the Godox V350 gave me f10, and recycle time was also 1.6 seconds. And last but not least, the Godox V480 gave me f13, and recycle time was 1.5 seconds. Now, to make sense of all of this and to show you why a bigger flash can be beneficial, not only for having more power, but also for other things. Like for instance, faster recycle times, longer battery life, and less likelihood of overheating. So if we shoot all the flash units at the same power output, I just used the Ricoh ZT-08 as my baseline, and so nothing's changed. But if I now use the RF12M at half power, which is the same power output as the other one, the recycle time, instead of 2.5 seconds, it's 1.3 seconds. So almost half. And the Godox IT32, I set it to 1/4 power to equal the power of the small flash. This resulted in an instant recycle time. So same power output, no time to wait. Then the Godox V350, I set it to 1/8 power, which gave me roughly the same power output as the smallest flash, and also instant recycle time. The same was true for the Godox V480. The recycle time was instant, and the power I set to 1/16 plus 0.7 power. Alright guys, that's it for today's video. I'll see you in the next one. Until then, auf Wiedersehen.